Poilievre. 7 minutes, a little more.
In what year will the budget be balanced?
As we've shown each year, we've shown the ongoing trajectory to be fiscally responsible by reducing the amount of debt to our GDP over time.
In what year will the budget be balanced?
As I've said, we think it's important to be fiscally responsible and to have a balanced approach to managing our economy. And that is exactly the approach we've taken. Happily, it's working with a high level of growth, and it's showing that we can make investments in our long-term future and do it in a fiscally responsible way.
And in what year will the budget be balanced?
And as I've said, the approach that we've taken is one that has demonstrably worked. The economy is growing much faster than it was, of course, when we came into office, after the previous government left us with a
in what year will
very
the
low rate of
budget
growth.
be? In what year will the budget be balanced?
I would be pleased to continue to have the same response to the same question, and that is that we believe that having a balanced approach to
what about a balanced budget? When will that happen?
We will continue to make investments on behalf of the long-term future of Canadians.
You promised in 2019
working.
you'd have a balanced budget. Will you balance the budget in 2019?
We will continue to make investments that we see are appropriate to grow our economy, and happily that's working.
And when will the budget be balanced?
And we'll continue to do that in a fiscally responsible way.
Okay. So the minister doesn't know when the budget will be balanced. On to his increases in taxes on small businesses. He says small businesses will be allowed to have $50,000 in passive income before his new penalties kick in. Is that $50,000 per shareholder or $50,000 per company?
Perhaps I can start by setting the record straight. In fact, we're reducing taxes on small businesses.
Okay.
So by moving forward on reductions that will move small businesses from where they are at federal taxation rate currently of 10.5% to 9%.
On the issue of the passive investment income, you've said that you're going to allow small businesses to earn $50,000 of passive income before new tax penalties take effect. Is that $50,000 per shareholder or $50,000 per company?
Well, perhaps I can step back and conclude what I was saying, which is that we will be reducing the taxes on small businesses. And so by January 1st, 2019, the federal rate of tax on small businesses will be 9%. And we'll do that at the same time as we assure that small businesses don't provide opportunities that are really not intended to be there for growth, but
fair enough. But the
50,000.
You said that small businesses will be allowed to earn $50,000 in passive income before new taxation, new tax measures will affect them. Is that $50,000 per shareholder or $50,000 per company?
Just to come in here, Mr. Minister, let's not try and interrupt each other. I'm watching the time. The ministers around can be around equal time to the question asked, so there's no need interrupting each other. If we can do that, please. Go ahead, Mr. Minister.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, was I interrupted?
No, you weren't. Mr. Poilievre was, but that's
sorry,
fine.
I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah.
The goal that we've set out is an important one, we believe, which is to make sure that incorporating only for the opportunity to defer income is not our goal. Our goal is to ensure people invest actively in their business. And as such, we've said that there will be a limit in terms of the amount of income that can be deferred within a private corporation. And that amount will be approximately $1 billion in assets if you look at the $50,000 of investment income. And that we believe is something that will allow our system to be enabling people to invest, at the same time not creating advantages for those that are already quite successful.
Yes, go ahead.
The minister is running my clock. He can run his own clock during his opening statement, but I've asked very short, pointed questions seeking factual answers, and he's not answering them. So I asked for the ability to restate the question.
State the question.
Thank you. Is that $50,000 per shareholder or $50,000 per company?
As I said earlier, we think this is important. We believe that it's important.
Do you know the answer to the question, or because if I could revert to your interview on CBC's The House, you were asked the similar question, and you said that quote, those details had not been worked out. But it's not a detail, Minister. If a company has 10 shareholders and that company is only allowed to have $50,000 in passive income, then that's actually $5,000 in passive income per person. I don't know on what planet one would have to live to think that $5,000 a year in passive income is enough for a business owner to pay for a retirement or maternity leave or for some other eventuality. But I'm just asking that you answer the question, because there are a lot of small business people who desperately need answers, and you've been immersed in this matter now for 100 days. You should know by now what your policy is. Is it is your limit on passive investment going to be $50,000 per company or $50,000 per shareholder?
Minister, the floor is yours.
I think now I have a fair bit of time, given the length of the diatribe. Yes. As I said, we think it's important to make sure that our system works. We have a small business rate that we think will be hugely advantageous for small businesses to invest in their active business. And at the same time, we want to make sure that we don't create a deferral opportunity for people in those companies that's not related to the active investment in their business, or for that matter, related to their legitimate needs to perhaps take off maternity leave or to build up retirement because the RSP system doesn't work effectively for them given their needs to invest in their business.
So you don't know if it's $50,000 per company or $50,000 per shareholder. You just don't know.
I'm pleased to continue.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So our goal in doing that was to put in place a measure that would limit the amount per company that people would be able to invest in their business, and or not to invest in their business, but to keep passively inside their business for potential future investments or potentially for their retirement. We will be releasing more complete details about this in our budget 2018, so that there's absolute clarity for businesses moving forward. But we know that what we've done is create an opportunity for people to invest at a good rate in their business, and to have the ability to save for their long-term needs at the same time.
Last question.
So I think the minister may have accidentally answered the question at a brief moment during his last statement. He seemed to suggest that it was $50,000 per company. So that does mean that in a situation which is relatively normal, that there are, say, 10 shareholders who jointly own a small business, whether a restaurant or a landscaping company, that they'll only have $5,000 per shareholder, per business owner, in passive income before his new double taxation takes effect on those people. Does he really think it's fair to hit people who are earning only $5,000 per year in passive income with tax rates that are far higher than would be paid by, say, Morneau Chappelle on its passive income?
Okay. That's the last question. Mr. Minister.
We know that getting our economy going means that we need to continue to enable small businesses to invest in their business. We also need to make sure that they have the capacity to save for things that they might need to save for, whether it's retirement or for maternity leave. So creating that balance was important for us. What we've done by lowering the small business tax rate is given the opportunity for small businesses to invest more. What we've done for a company as well is given them the capacity to save passively for those eventualities. Of course, any active investments will continue to be at that low rate. What we will do is we'll provide absolute clarity for people in Budget 2018. For those 85% of businesses that don't have any passive investments, of course, they're not thinking about this right now. But for all businesses, we want to make sure that they have the capacity to invest at the small business rate, to save appropriately, and continue to create success for themselves and their families.